Hello.
Hello, spooky dad.
How's it going?
Good. I don't know what my volume's gonna be like.
I think you sound great.
I know. I think I sound great, but
Yeah.
I cannot figure out computers. So
No, no one can.
computers plus StreamYard don't seem
Yeah.
to. I'm like trying. Can I like get inside of it?
If you put your mouth on the microphone, it's probably going to sound great.
Yeah. Should I do that?
I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
Okay. You were telling me about your trip to Berlin.
That's right.
You said that you went to a good art show.
Yes. So I could talk for a while about this. So I'm going to try to restrain myself.
Dude, we always waste the first half hour anyways. Also, nobody watches.
Right. Well, our one fan Jackie that I got to hang out
Pablos.
with in Berlin. Well,
Oh, yeah,
I
got it.
just
That you got
mean
to hang
one
out.
of our fans like will already have heard this and is like going to be skimming along.
Yeah.
Till
Did
this
you
is
autograph
over.
anything for her?
That'd be the other way around. She'd autograph for me. But so Liddy, another friend of the show, I think you overlapped with Liddy, didn't you? I
Yeah.
forget.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So she used to live in Berlin.
She is on my what's the first project that we built? You're doing a good job. She's on my You're doing a good job.
Nice.
She said some nice things about me.
That's nice. Despite all evidence to the contrary. No, I kid.
Yes.
I kid. Where was I going with this? Oh, okay. So she used to live in Berlin. She moved to London, but so as a local, she knows some of the cool spots. She strenuously advocated for us to go to this thing called the Boros exhibition.
Oh yeah. Yes.
B-O-R-O-S.
I went to that.
You went to it. Okay.
But it was a different show when I went because that was like 2 years ago. I think 18 months is when they cycle.
4 years.
Oh.
So they cycle their exhibitions every 4 years. So where I think, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. So in like the current 4 years, they collect art and they're showing. It's like whatever they're showing, then they're currently collecting, and so that stuff gets all wiped out, and they put the new stuff in. But they could have like 150 pieces in the collection at one time, and they're always turning out what people are seeing
yeah.
on a
Yep.
given, on a given tour. So
Got it.
it's possible that you would very likely see a lot of different things if you went, years apart. But every 4 years, the entire collection turns over.
Got it. Okay. Tell me more about the Boros collection.
Okay, so just real quick for those who have never heard of it, it's in the city of Berlin, and it's in this big, huge building. You go in there, and pretty quickly you realize that your phone is on SOS, and that's kind of your first tip that something is happening here. You got to put all your stuff in some lockers. You go into a room, a guide comes in, and the experience begins. One of the first things the guide tells you is about the building you're in. That in '42 it was a bomb,
Like a bunker.
a bomb
Shelter.
like a shelter, a bomb shelter that the Nazis built in '42. And the reason it's such an odd building and that's such an odd thing to have done is usually you'd make a bomb shelter underground, but Nazis in their, whatever, in their racism, said things like Germans are not going to hide underground like vermin, even from like bombs. So they built this extremely like over the top structure to serve this part of Berlin. It's kind of like near a few different public transportation points, and so it was strategic that way to build it there. Anyway, it's like 6 feet of concrete and rebar. It's this enormous building, but on the outside, like as you come up to it, you would never guess that because they added details like windows that are fake, and then like decorative architectural details that make the building not look like a bomb shelter. Anyway, that's
Except you can see like giant holes in the concrete, like where it's been blown out. That's something I remember.
And something else you'll remember is that there's like a like so the guide is telling you this history and kind of brings you through a few like so after the war, like it has to go through a few different hands. It ends up being abandoned. It becomes like a important location in the Berlin music scene, like the DJ scene, and even in like S&M circles. It's like this strange building with like all these different rooms, because again, it's like a bomb shelter, and so there's like all these like just different kind of weird rooms. And so what they would do is they'd have DJ, they'd have like, it's like a dance club, and they'd have DJs set up in different rooms. There was maybe a room where you'd defecate and a room where you'd fuck, because this is like there's no plumbing. Like,
I mean, like we all have that now. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the basement of my house. There's a corner you don't want to go in. No, that's not true. So it changes hands. It goes through all these different phases. At one point, it was like where they stored a bunch of like bananas. Like it was like
I don't remember
tropical
that part.
fruit storage.
That's awesome.
Okay, so then modern times, it comes into the hands of these two art collectors, the Boroses, and they present a plan to the city where they're going to like blow a hole through the top of the structure and make a residence on top, and then the structure itself will be this art exhibition. They go through some planning phases. It ends up getting accepted, and this story kind of comes out in drips and drabs throughout. Like a lot of it you hear in this initial waiting area with when the guide comes in, and then as he's showing you the works for an hour and a half, this is all kind of coming out, and he's adding a little bit of flavor to things. I just like can't say enough about the experience from start to finish. The guide, the art I saw, the building is such an interesting character. Like the history is just interesting and compelling. It was awesome. If you ever get to Berlin, you got to go to this thing.
Yeah, it's an absolute definite. You have
What
to
did I
book
miss?
it way in advance.
Yes, that's true.
I think
It's
it
very
was
popular.
like 3 months or so was when I booked it.
Tours are given in German and English.
The
so
website's really confusing
bear that in mind.
because it's in German and it's hard to figure out how to get it into English, I think, if I remember.
yeah. I didn't book it, so I was just went along for the ride.
There was one other thing I was going to say. I was just going to say, like, what I remember about the experience is feeling like this just super confusing feelings. Because thinking about like where you are and you're in an you're viewing an art collection, which is always like a beautiful experience and very luxurious. Like feels like, people could survive. They could survive without art. They might not want to, but they could.
Sure.
So it's like
It's
right
not
now,
the bottom part of the Maslow's hierarchy.
yeah,
of needs.
exactly. Like you've accounted for some of the absolute bare necessities of the animal needs before you get to that point.
Yeah.
So that feels one way, and then you think about how when that building was created, it was built by an absolute monster, and you're like, fuck that. But it was built to save a whole bunch of people, like a bunch of people's lives. They all survived because this building existed. And then it became this thing in between where it was like a dance club, which was just like, I'm sure people were in there just like, expressing so many emotions and getting everything out. And it just is like, it's like this weird, twisty, wild turn where it's just like you feel a lot of different things while you're in there. And like you're viewing the art, and it's like there's like a door, a big steel door right next to it with a pirate ship steering wheel on it,
Like a
it's
hatch.
open, like a hatch, yeah. And it's just like, what is this?
And like people live there.
Yeah, man,
It's weird.
it's wild. It's cool.
wild.
I'm glad you went there.
So glad. Definitely one of the best art experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. One more thing I'll say about the actual art itself. So as I said, it turns over every 4 years. So they're debuting a new a new collection of art, and that new collection of art lasts for 4 years. During that 4 years, they're building up another collection to then do the following 4 years. And so a cool thing about that is while they're collecting, they intend to collect works the year that they're produced. So what you end up with is kind of like a snapshot, and they're very focused on modern art. So you end up with this like snapshot, it's like 4 year delayed snapshot of like what was going on in the zeitgeist, especially in the modern art world. That's like got this 4-year lag.
That's super interesting.
So for us, we saw a lot of works that were happening during COVID times,
Yeah.
and so you sort of see this like, oh wow, like you can see that this is like infused itself into some of the works that are on
Yeah.
display here.
That's super interesting. Are there any like works that you remember that stood out where you felt that strongly? And if so, like what was it that you perceived?
Yeah, there was a woman who was doing like sculptures with mannequins, and the mannequins were in various poses, and like one of the poses included a mask. It was like a comment on a lot of different things, but like it wouldn't have had the mask if it wasn't COVID times, and so just
Yeah.
like some of the details you would see, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so like a part of what's in conversation here is what's in the air, literally and figuratively. Yeah, and I mean, not every piece was so forward with it. Certainly not all of them. One more thought was there was an artist who he was Asian. I don't know if he was Chinese. I think he was Chinese, and you sort of like see the statue of a boy, and he's kind of like making like a young boy, like maybe let's say like a 9-year-old, like like Jack's age. And he's kind of like making a thing with his hand, and you would probably not catch it, but what it ends up, what the guide kind of helps you see is that he could be holding like a can of soda.
Sure.
So it's like this meditation on this artist remembering when he was a boy and he first got access to Coca-Cola and how that shaped his view of Western culture and America, da da da. And then like you go around the corner and there's this tarp on the floor with all this like black rock material stuff. And you're like, and then the guest invites you, the guide invites you to guess what it is. Well, it turns out, I mean, it could be coal, it could be some kind of rock, it could be shale. You're not quite sure. Turns out what the artist did then was he boiled enough Coca-Cola, and produced this little like rocky looking material. It's like solid
Yeah.
material, and then he made like 200 pounds of it. I don't know, like a lot, and like it's mounded. And so anyway, it's just like it's
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, it's
I love
fun.
art. It's so cool
Yeah,
to
me
see
too.
art.
I really do too. This isn't the same at all. I was in Dallas last week for work, and I had a little bit of time to kill before the airport, and that was my choice, was to go to the Dallas Art Museum. It is my favorite thing to do when I go travel for work. It's just like, yeah, you can just like spend an hour even looking at stuff, and you see things where, yeah, you read stories about like the stories like that where you're just like, I never would have considered that.
And it sticks
fun.
with you. Yeah.
Yep.
So definitely the highlight of the trip. Work-wise, some of the stuff was good, some of the stuff was a miss. That's pretty typical of work trips.
Yeah.
But it was great to see everybody and make some of those connections in real life.
That's
Lovely.
awesome.
Yep.
Did you eat at the vegan place that I told you to eat at?
No.
Damn it.
We had one
I
dinner
can still taste that food.
after the exhibition. That was like a team dinner, and then we had one other team dinner like the first night. I think the second night I like was a hermit and just like went back to my hotel because I was way overstimulated and
Because
just
you had been out partying all night the night before?
I have partied more with folks like yourself, but I was ready for
When
an
you
early
were
night
younger.
when I was younger. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. I'm jealous. It sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that's good. Elect dad. Should we elect a dad to the White House?
Before I talk, tell me
Oh.
why you're spooky dad.
Just because it's Halloween. Oh, but I chose this emoji because a couple hours ago, my brother-in-law here realized that Ghost is coming to Minnesota to do a show, and we have tickets. So I put the
That's
ghost emoji in
awesome.
there.
That's fantastic.
You're aware of this
is
band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it what kind of venue is it? Is it like
I think it's
how small? How
I
big?
think it's the basketball stadium.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's not
That's
right.
big.
I will try to answer
I mean,
that
that's probably like
question.
18,000 people, something like that, right?
They
It's not
are
important.
playing at Excel Energy Center. I thought that's where they played basketball, but I thought that was the Target Center. What do I know?
Yeah. Who
Oh
knows?
yeah, that's where the Wild
That's
play.
where they play basketball. That's a big venue. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm actually not a fan of Jack White.
Okay.
I am a fan of Jack Black. Jack White, the musician, White Stripes, did a thing in Milwaukee this past weekend where just like on Friday morning he just announced that he was going to play
What?
2 shows in Milwaukee. One of
Nice.
them was at this venue, the Cactus Club, which is probably one of my favorite places to see a show in Milwaukee. But it's like there's like 100 people. It's like 100
Wow.
people fit in this room. So as I told my kids this when they were when they bought tickets to go see Taylor Swift at the Eras tour or whatever. Just like I can take you to a show right now for $10 tonight, and you'll feel the musicians spit on you. Like that's how close you are. They were not impressed, but to see a big artist in a venue like that would be just mind blowing.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like Jack White,
Don't like his music or don't like the guy? I might
don't
have
like his
missed-
music. I just don't care for it. No,
No.
I don't have any sort of like political diatribe against him or anything. Cool. Oh yeah, so Electad. I went to before we came here. I went to not train. I went to a preview. I don't know what you would call it. It was basically like all of the election workers in my city got together to talk about like how we're gonna work the polls next week.
Oh, you're
Because
volunteering.
I volunteered to work the polls. I don't have a job. I don't have a position. There's so many people that volunteered in my city that
Oh,
it was
really?
like we don't like come whatever, that's fine. But
So are you
there's
like kind of
nothing
on
for you.
standby or something?
Yep, I'm on call. So if I get a call
Got
that
it.
morning, I'll go in. Otherwise, or the afternoon, it could be too. But yeah, I was super excited to do it, and then I was just waiting for him to tell me. He sent emails that were like, "Okay, I'm going to assign people," and I never got any emails. I'm like,
Oh.
"What the f?"
Yeah.
And then he sent one later that was like, "Yeah, we just got a lot of people. Not everybody has something." There was one point where he sent a message trying to get like 5 people to work early voting. There were like 5 open spots, and he was like, he called it out. He's like, "Just so you know, I'm sending this email to 240 people for 5 spots, so you're likely not going to get one," which is pretty funny. But the highlight of this meeting was the guys that run it, like the people who are in charge of elections in my city, are very like masterful about speaking without representing any sort of political allegiance. So it's very, very straightforward. Like your job, you're here to basically get people through the voting process as smoothly as possible. We want everyone to come in, have a good time voting, get the vote done, and then get out. So it was like an hour of them talking about like, kind of some general things that have changed since last year or the last election, and then
But to be clear, this was your first time hearing any of this
This
stuff,
is my
so it
first
was
time
all
hearing
new
this
to you.
stuff,
Yeah.
there was some online training that I did.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of it was rehashed from the online training, but
Got it.
who does online training?
No one.
But so it was like a lot of that, but then also a lot of people raising their hands and asking questions about like obscure scenarios. Like this person came in and they had a license from this college that didn't have this information on it. What do we do in that situation? Whatever, like all these weird edge case things, which that's what I learned from it is basically on election day, it's just edge case after edge case, and you just ask for help.
Got it.
Like how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Anyways, the best part was when there was a woman. He had just finished talking about electioneering, and so it is legal in the state of Wisconsin for people to go into a poll and vote wearing anything. Like you can wear whatever political shirt you want, but you can't put a sign within 100 feet of the entrance to the poll location. He was, he talked about that. He talked about how it is not illegal to wear clothing, and we shouldn't stop anyone
Say
or talk to
anything
them.
about
Just
it.
like let them through, get them through.
Yep.
And so someone raised their hand to ask a question. This very, very old woman raised her hands to ask a question. And I'm figuring, like, okay, this is going to be another weird edge case. And she's like, why doesn't the state of Wisconsin pass a law preventing people from wearing that clothing? And the massive, exhausted, just like sigh from the room that was like, oh, come on. It was like, it was hilarious, like how loud everyone sighed at once.
Like, now is not the time, lady. This guy doesn't make the rules.
Keep your politics at home. And the guy that was doing the talking took the microphone and he was like, speak to your state legislator. And handed the microphone to the next person. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So that's that. Oh, I do want to show off. I do have.
Nice.
Red
It looks
Jack
so
shirt.
good. Yeah.
It's still really low, but it's higher than the last one that I got.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Well,
in
I
this,
have
like,
made a
nice
note.
yellow color,
Yeah, it
like
looks
kind of
great.
like citrusy yellow. I like it.
Really pops that purple. Well, I've made a note to ask you about the selection and volunteering stuff because I had an idea that I would do that this year and I never followed through. But now
Yep.
hearing your story, I want to know a little bit more about it. But we can
Okay.
follow up on that.
We can do that later.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Yes.
What else? Anything?
No. Let's program
Okay.
computers.
Okay, so today, what we're gonna do, what we
Yep.
did the last time is,
Yep.
I talked about what I want, which is, I want a Raycast app where I can enter type a short code, and it'll give me some matches, and I'll hit one of them, and it'll take me to an expanded URL for that
Yep.
short code. So the example that I use for this is like, and I currently have a Raycast script that I use to do this, but I want it to be more more friendly.
Yep.
Give me suggestions. Give me my recent selections, so I type less. But the example is like I do like GH PRs, and that takes me to GitHub notifications, so I can view like all the PRs that are assigned to me. So that's what we're doing with this Raycast app.
Yep.
Last time we looked at what I have, and then we kind of looked at we started kind of laying out like a products map of the things, maybe like some prioritized features, in an order that it would kind of be easy to build a little bit, iterate on a little bit. But then you were like, Steve, I already did this. And so
Yep.
today we're going to start with you showing me what you did, because maybe
Right.
I don't need to do anything and I just need to copy your code.
Let's do it.
Fork it, is that what the
that's
kids say?
slides. Present your screen, entire screen, screen one, move Chrome. Oh, I'm like a pro. Okay. So I guess the first thing I wanted to do was demo.
So this is the Raycast docs that we're looking at? Oh, okay.
Those are the Raycast docs. But let me just... Actually, I'm trying to think, like, what's the best background for this? This is probably fine. Oh, I know. I could do, like, a new tab. Okay. So if I do that, and then I do... That make that go away. Okay. So here's my Raycast prompt. I built something called artsy projects. So this is... you can see that it's different from... Like, I think that quick link was what you were doing, which was like use their links or like link command or something. Or you kind of like built your own where it kind of like substitutes in.
Mine says
like,
script command, so it's a
Script
little bit
command.
different, but it's, I think...
But that's different
Yeah.
than a proper command. This is like an
Yep.
actual extension that has exposed a command. And when I
Yep.
typed the word artsy here in my Raycast prompt, it filtered through, and I use this artsy GitHub more often, and so it's first in my recommendations here. But this is the one I wanted to show you, and there's actually two
Yeah.
of them, but we'll do the artsy projects. So
You
these are
also
my mouse
have a,
here.
it looks like
Sorry.
you have a shortcut key there too to get you there. RT.
Yes. So I'm using my mouse here just for the sake of kind of pointing at things, but you're right. What I would actually do is use the turbo key plus P. So I've got a mechanical keyboard, and one of the things I did was programmed it to do turbo. Hyper, excuse me. I think that's called hyper. I always get hyper and turbo confused. But it is basically all the modifiers plus P.
All the modifiers Oh yeah, got it. Control Shift Alt, or sorry,
And
Command Shift Alt.
Command
Command Shift
Control
Option.
Option
Shit.
Shift.
Oh, it's 4 of them.
Yeah.
4 modifiers. Oh, I can't do that.
Well, so you shouldn't.
No wonder you have a turbo key, hyper key.
Yeah. So you should program a key to do this. Otherwise, just like don't
I
do
can't
as
do
many
that.
modifiers. Like do one that's more ergonomic, whatever, or like just don't do it and just use Raycast extension
Sure.
autocomplete. But so if I click on this, I have to double click on it. Then I get so like this is the thing, and you can see it because it's down here in the corner. And then
It's got
you
a nice
see,
RC logo.
yeah, and you see that it's got my focus is here, and it says search. There's a list of projects here, and then interestingly, there's a info panel over here with different links for this one. If I click to Gravity, you see the list is longer because there's more
There's a lot of stuff there.
things I might want to go to. I'll go back to the first one. There's also what happens if you hit the Enter key, and then there's an Actions menu.
Sure.
Which also tells you what happens if you hit the Enter key, what happens
is
if
you
you
go to
hit
GitHub.
Command Enter, which is to circle, exactly right. And there's a few other things down here.
I think this is going to be hard for people to see, so let's just call out like everything that's there. Read it.
What's up?
So
Did I not read?
just like read all of the options that you're talking about. that you're
Oh,
looking
like
at.
here. So GitHub pull request, and Circle CI. Is that what you're thinking? I should
Yeah,
narrate
that's
a
what I
little bit
mean.
more.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then links to go to those things.
Yeah, so like I'll just so like in normal usage I would not be using my mouse, but again for demonstration purposes, I've clicked on Gravity, and then if I click on I don't know, I don't want to like what would I even want to show people? This is like not a
Can you go
open
to
source
staging?
project.
Is it
What if I go to
appropriate for
Force
staging?
and then I go to Staging? So this is the staging site for Artsy. Okay,
Cool.
so basically all it did was I was in my extension, I picked a URL, and then it flipped me over to my default browser, and it populated that URL, and there I am.
Is the Artsy Vanguard already published?
Yeah, it just came out.
Okay, good. I was worried that we just exposed something that was only in staging.
No, this is all good. Okay, so now that I'm here, I'm going to show not the slow way to get there, but like the faster way. So back over here, I'll do a new tab just to make it a little bit easier to read. So I'm pressing my hyper key, I'm hitting P, I come here, I type G, it is now like it's filtering the list of things.
Yes.
And then I
Yep.
can hit, like Command Enter, and that went to the Circle CI for Gravity.
Cool.
So it's kind of like a few different pieces of the puzzle that are
Yep.
all like the kind of like the way that I wanted them. So these might not be a perfect fit for what you're interested in.
It's
I think some of
definitely-
these things are in the ballpark.
Yep, for sure. Like for starters, the thing that you just demonstrated, like you entered this interface and you started typing
Yeah.
something, and it limited it down to only the appropriate options, only the ones that matched.
Yeah.
So that like search is definitely interesting to me. I probably only want one thing to do, which is hit enter, and it'll take me to a place.
Oh, okay.
But
So you might not need the like info panel
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
info panel.
Yeah, maybe you would.
But
just
maybe
have
it
like a
also
list
would
of
be
things.
nice, like it might be nice to just have the info panel like tell me what the URL is that
Sure.
it's going to take me to, because I might not be sure.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So it's a good starting point for sure.
yeah. So now let's take a step back and remember that there are docs for this. If you go to developers.raycast.com, the docs are pretty good, and
Who's
they
in?
walk. Yeah. Thank you. Let's maximize. All right. So, is that better font wise?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. Cool. So they tell you. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you to clear that cookies window. I'm just kidding.
Cookies window. That.
No,
Oh, this.
bottom right. I don't care.
Okay, so you could definitely cruise through these and figure out a lot of things yourself.
Yep.
Here's where they talk about like different ways you can kind of get yourself going, create your first extension, and kind of walks you through some stuff there. Contribute, prepare. There's like publishing. I really didn't do much of this publishing stuff because this is like kind of a private extension.
How did you distribute it? Because you're
So,
not
like,
the only one that uses it, right?
yeah, good question. Let's see. So if I go, so it's on GitHub. Basically, on GitHub is how I did it.
And it just has like instructions like clone this, point, configure this thing in Raycast to point at this folder.
Shoot, I forgot where I put this.
Did you forget your name?
Git remote -v.
Can you bump this
Okay,
up too?
it's under artsy. That's why I couldn't find it. Yeah, I'm not staying there for long. I'm really just trying to do this. Oh, come on, what just happened? GitHub.com/paste. There we go. Okay, so basically you clone the repo, you npm install, you can build it, and then you can import the extension, and then
Cool.
there you go. So there's some installation instructions. Not the
It's pretty
nicest.
minimal.
Yeah, not the nicest way to do it. But we're all engineers that would use this at Artsy, so not too much of a hassle.
There's nothing on your OKRs that you can like contribute this to.
The problem
Or
is that
attribute.
publishing an extension would make it public, and private extensions, I think you have to have like some kind of paid account to do that.
Yep. And you have URLs that you probably don't want to expose.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird to have private Git repos in a public thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and I think at the time I didn't have better options. Oh yeah, here. Yeah, here it is.
No judgment.
Publish a private extension. So you can do it, but I just didn't like it, so I didn't do it.
Sure.
But like the main thing I wanted to point out here is that you actually use Raycast to make Raycast extensions. So you actually open the create extension command in Raycast, and then you're using the Raycast interface to kind of set up some of those initial pieces. So I thought, just like real quick, we might kind of cruise through that. So I'll do create extension. And this will be like 2 red dads. Who knows? And we'll put it in my code folder. Command title. 2rd s. And create extension. Why?
Unable to create a section. Command. It looks like something's cut off there. Command name something.
What does it say? Oh.
Command name is invalid. Is it not like numbers in the command name?
Command.
Or is that not the command name?
this?
That's the command title.
Command title is missing. So how about like 2 red dads?
Turds.
Turds. Shit. Okay. Extension created. Almost ready. That's all.
That is officially what we should call our fans. Turds.
Turds.
Oh, that's so mean. We're gonna lose both of them.
Open manage extension. I don't know what that means. Oh, maybe this. Yeah. Okay. So then, all right. So now if we go back over here, now I'm gonna put the jam over here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right, let's detach. Did it make it? Shouldn't be. Oh no, I called it. Yeah, it's not called.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's not called turds there.
2 red dads.
The command is called turds. Okay, so you end up with this. Let's make one of those. Let's yarn install. What was the other thing? Yarn install npm run dev is how you get it.
Cool.
npm run dev. Okay, let's check it out. It actually, I'm not sure if you caught it, but it actually evoked Raycast for me. And so now
I
I
did
do
not.
turds. There it is. And I don't know if you can tell, but this is actually green where it was gray before. And this tells you that you're actually in a hot reloading state.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is so even just that little developer happiness right there is so much better than Alfred. Alfred was the thing that I used before this.
Yep.
And you could make extensions in kind of similar ways, but it wasn't using TypeScript, and it just didn't have some of these niceties. So anyway, this is like so fun for me.
Super nice.
So we can like hit enter on this thing, and like it's not going to do anything.
Right.
This is like it doesn't do anything. We can hit open command, like whatever, doesn't do anything. But we can change that. So let's look at our, I think it's in the package JSON. Okay, so in the package JSON, you have a commands key. This is where we said that we want to have a command called turds, and whatever, like this is what it is. So I'm going to put this up against.
Okay, I recognize mode no view.
Nice. So if I go to
artsy
staff, Raycast extension, and go to this package JSON, that project list, its mode was view. So there's like already some things we're starting to learn. And then there's like metadata, so name, title, description. It's like a subtitle over here that doesn't really matter. But the name does matter. I believe the name is how we're going to find it in the src folder. Yeah, so this trds ts file is like what is executed. So what if we did something stupid like console log hi. Okay, now you see over here that some things changed.
There's some builds happening.
Yeah, some hard reloading happened. TRDS. And you can see actually we get console log. Yeah. So this is a pretty nice way to build something.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that's our developer environment. Let's go back to the docs. Because I think where you would probably spend most of your time actually is in the where I found myself spending the most time was in the user interface section. So this is where you can import things from the Raycast JavaScript or TypeScript to build out the actual UI of your extension. And so if we again go back over here and look at what I built, what was the thing again? Name, project list. Okay, so I go to src, I go to project list, and this just re-exports the project list index. Okay, so here's project list. And like, you know, so like this.
Am I looking at JSX?
Yeah, like.
I am. It's a TSX file.
Yeah, so like you build it as if you're building like a
like
website.
a React app.
Like a React app. So when I'm here and I'm looking at the artsy projects Raycast extension, what I'm seeing here is defined by this list is showing like this is this. And then the project list is like this part over here, and the list item I think is like the individual items. I'm trying to remember. Is showing detail, I think is, I don't really remember what that is.
Project
That's
details.
the thing. List item comes from there.
Ah.
I think it's just because I'm using a list is showing detail. So maybe I should just go look at list. Okay, so yeah, so I'm forgetting like what this is about.
Yeah.
So like let's go to the docs, and what you can do then is go here, and then go to blah blah blah. It's like showing me all these things. So maybe it's gonna be like here.
I bet if you set that to false, you wouldn't see the detail panel right away.
Whether the list should have an area on the right side of the items to show additional details about the selected item.
Right.
So
if I wanted to for mine, I might not do this. If I just wanted the things to select, I might say is showing detail false, and then it would spit out the items that have what you have as actions here, but no details.
Exactly right. Nailed it.
Cool.
And then I think what shows up here is specified in those list items. I think it's probably this stuff in that project details. Let's see, so if I go over here, project list, project details, Yeah, so here's like a list item detail that I've imported. So I can go over here. Yeah, so check it out. They're even showing you an example where they picked Pikachu, and then on the right-hand side, the list item detail view is the one that's being rendered over here. So I really think like all the pieces are there, and like you know all of these things better than I do. And it's just a matter of like gluing things together and figuring out like what's the user interaction you're after, and then digging through some of the docs to find the things that are going to build to what you want.
Yep, for sure. It's interesting because I think one of the things that I had in my head with this was that I would need to actually implement some sort of search. But it seems like Raycast handles that all for you. If you give it a list of items, it's going to filter them based on what you type.
Yeah, custom filtering. So you can do. Yeah. So, but if you do nothing, then you'll get its filtering for you. But there's a filtering prop.
Right.
False.
If you want to take it over.
Filter. Okay. Yeah. So those are your items. Use state. Use effects. Yeah. They even have like hooks from. I mean, they're like literally importing the stuff
React.
from React. So yeah, like all the things are exposed, and if you want to, but like I just didn't need any of that. I mean, my list is so short, that like hitting F is actually going to jump me probably to the one.
It's
that
like
I
10
want.
static items.
Yeah. But I keep it, but like it's worth, but it is still worth having that filtering because it is nice to be able to hit a couple keys to select the thing you want.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, so they're just kind of like running through what you have to do if you're going to do it yourself.
Yep.
Pagination, I didn't really get into that. Trying to think of like what else is even going to be interesting. I guess you can do some
so
stuff.
much of it is here. Like this is so much stuff.
Yep.
There are things that we talked about in regards to like our little product map that we put together that I think are just going to be like different variations of the things that we've talked about. So if I go from the top down, we number one, see some suggestions. So we'll just emit a list, and that's it. See my most common submissions. That might be a thing where like we have to introduce a custom filter or something so that the most recent ones, which I don't know how we'll keep track of, but maybe I don't know if there's any sort of like state that you have that you're able to use. Most recent submissions, similar to that. Autocomplete is already done. Autocomplete, I think, is done. Like, I don't think there's anything we need to do there.
But you are reminding me about like recents. How do you do recents?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't immediately bump into this.
Is there what's under storage? Does it talk about state under storage? It's a database. It's all local storage, which is probably what I would want to do to persist it across. I imagine there's some sort of like boundary that I would want to persist it across.
What about just like Raycast extension recent items? Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, there might be some.
This is down the line, so not
there might be some research to do. Yeah, because I mean, I would kind of like that too. So that when I hit command or when I bring this up, I actually don't want these in alpha order. I would prefer them in
recency order.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
or something.
Likely what I would actually prefer is like my most used project to be here, and then I'd be one key press away from going to where I probably want to go.
Yep.
But anyway, so I think I'm done sharing because I just wanted to like give you a bit of a tour, show you how you use Raycast to make Raycast, and how it's really just basically React under the hood, and all of the things are just like right there for you.
That's awesome. I love it. So I guess that means it's going to be my turn to take over.
Yeah, so maybe in 15 minutes, let's try to get some kind of Hello World MVP something on your system, some kind of git commit.
Yeah, that sounds good. Entire screen. That one. Tunnels. Okay, so let's grab. I have a couple things here. Sorry, I still need to get rid of those tunnels. There we go. Excuse me while I move this down below so I can see your face.
Yep.
All right, so on the right side, actually, let's just make that big. This is just what I was talking about with the kind of the product map that we built. And yeah, like I said, I think number 4 is done, autocomplete. But then we get into other things like, if you remember, I have this thing, nope, not translation map. Where is it? Not resolver. I have this URL map. This URL map thing built where it's like, these are all my rules for expansion. So like if I type prod, I want it to go there. If I type staging, I want it to go there. And then I have like some more complicated ones like GitHub is basically, if I don't add anything else, it goes to GitHub. If I add one thing after that, it goes to the Camunda repo named that. If I add 2 things, it goes to the Camunda repo named that /polls or /issues. So those get a little bit more complicated, and that's not something I want to solve right away.
Yeah, I think like GH is going to be a little tricky, but like
Yeah.
the ones where it's just string to URL, those we
Yeah.
could get those done like
For sure.
right
We
now.
should start there. Absolutely. Okay. So, oops, where is that file that we were just looking at? Yeah, so then we get into, so I just wanted to show that URL map file because I want to be able to dynamically create those rules rather than having it just kind of hard-coded and I have to like keep dropping it into a place in order to follow them. And then exporting them so that I can share them across, or syncing so that I can share them across devices.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, so what we were going to do is next is start a new Raycast app and then try to just see some suggestions from the app. So let's do that. Right now I am in my go-to Raycast, which is my script commands, which is not what I want. That's like the dumb version of it. So I believe what you said is, what I want to do is I want to pull up Raycast and I want to say create extension.
Totally.
Oh, I need to sign into my Raycast account. Good grief, I don't think I have one of those. Oh, it's a pro feature. John, I don't have a pro feature. I don't have a pro account.
I didn't know this, Steve.
I know, who knew? Let me take a quick look and see. Oh, no, let's just do it here. Can I get a browser?
Oh man, this is gonna be so bad.
I know. Stream is over.
All right, well, see you next time.
Steve's too cheap. Okay, starting at $8 a month. Man, $100, jeez. Okay. I just want to make sure that this is what I need
extensions
to do.
at all. Yeah, custom extensions. Oh, that doesn't mean you can make your own extension though. Damn it.
Oh, but maybe it's just the. Maybe
Can I
it's
see
just the
that
command.
interface again? Like, yeah, is it just
Need to open,
like, can you sign in even if you're not paying?
Oh, I probably can. Yeah, I don't have an account at all,
Got it. So what I guess what I'm saying
so
is
I can create one.
it might just be an account creation roadblock, not a pay for pro roadblock.
Let's try that. I'm gonna do that off screen.
Okay. I totally forgot. about
something
this
went
little
wrong.
Detail.
Why did something go wrong when I tried to create an account? Do I have an account?
You can also go to raycast.com and do it that way. And then once you have your credentials safely in one password, copy and paste. And
That's what I attempted to do,
okay.
and something went wrong when I tried to create an account.
Make sure you don't
okay.
already have one.
I am in my account. That's my face. So it
Hey,
knows
look
who
at
I am.
you.
I joined February of 2022, so apparently
Okay.
I had an account already.
Nice.
I have no extensions published yet, but maybe okay. So if I go to Raycast and sign in successfully, yes, yes, yes. I want you to do this. Finalizing authorization. Okay,
Okay,
cool.
phew.
It is just a
It's a sign-in roadblock, not a
yep.
pay us money roadblock.
Okay. Do I want to do a template? So I have options for detail, form, grid, list, and detail, etc. Um,
I believe list and
list
detail
and
was what I
detail.
was showing. I don't
That sounds
know.
good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the extension go to. I keep calling it go to.
Okay.
I don't know if there's going to be a conflict there because I have like my script command is also named go to, so we'll see if that causes
We'll
a
find out in
problem.
a second.
Goes to things. Categories. Wormhole is not there. Darn it. I don't care. I'm going to choose a directory. This is going to be, oh, good grief. This is going to show you everything.
Oh boy.
Personal,
Oh,
new folder, go to
extension.
extension. Let's open it right there. Hopefully no secrets were exposed. Show list in detail. Command name is going to be go to something. Description. Go. All right, let's create this extension. Oops, with command enter, not enter. Extension created. You're almost ready. Develop your extensions by running npm install and npm run dev. You mentioned that. I'm going to copy that. Publish your extension. I'm not ever going to publish it, I don't think. And fine.
Yeah, click on open manage extensions.
So now, so it is there. It is
Yeah.
added already as an extension. But if I go to my terminal and I'm gonna cd into, oops, I'll make that bigger. Cd into go to extension. That's funny. I have one named go to Raycast.
Command P.
It's there, and then it's named cd go to. So there's stuff there. So from here, I want to do npm install and npm run dev. Right?
I think you might have one level of folder you don't need, but that's okay. No big deal.
I agree. It annoys me, and I will want to fix it. But mostly, I just want to see if I can get it running right now. And if I can, I will move it.
Yep.
Zero vulnerabilities. I can't say I have a single project that reports zero vulnerabilities.
Hey, look at that.
There it
Go
is.
to
Go
something.
to something. So this is the script command. I just typed go to, and it gave me for the first option go to Raycast. But now go to something is my other one, and if I hit enter on that one, I get a greeting. That's cool.
Nice.
Can I, if I select the greeting, it gives me a little hey window. So that's interesting because list and detail
Yeah.
are showing separately, whereas you had them showing side by side.
Yes.
So that's probably a different template that I could have used, but I don't really care. So it's dead. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So we could go into that src folder and see what we can see.
Yeah, so I'm going to open code in here, and then my eyes are getting itchy. Oops, that's too deep. So I'm in VS Code. I'm looking in my SRC. Like you said, I think it was it in the package JSON where we see the commands? Yep.
Yep.
So we see these commands. There, it has a description, go exclamation. The title is go to something. The name is index, and the mode is view. And so if I look at my source index, this is my index command, which has an action panel. Let's see, I'm sorry, has a list component where the list.item has this icon and this title, and then the actions associated with it are within this action panel.
Yes. So like on mine, my list item.
I'll pull it up in a browser, actually. Oh, no, I can't. It's an artsy one.
Yes. So my list item, its actions, or was it detail? Can I see what you were looking at again?
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to make my browser window show on the bottom so I could see your face.
Yeah, so my actions renders another component, and then that component has imported something called action.open. Action.open then takes like a target, which could be a URL, and then yeah, look at you go. And then that can be that's self-closing tab or tag. But and then that would be, like github.com.
Got it. Okay. I mean, let's just do that.
And then it needs a title, which could be hello world.
Turds. We're going to do turds for now.
TRDS. Okay. And
I'm
then
spelling the whole thing out.
And then I think you just...
It does not like that title. What is it out? Like what? A case naming convention for action titles. Oh, that's so nice. These people seriously are good at developer experience.
Yeah.
I am currently living in a version of hell where I am manually reviewing API spec changes that include improper casing and lack of periods in places and lack of descriptions. And to automate it, somebody already put in the work to automate it for me, that detection. But as soon as I start turning rules on, I'm going to get like 300 violations and I have to go fix them. And I just want to die.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, let's see if we can make this happen. Okay, this is a thing that I did. Let's see if I can get, oops, I want to open my Raycast again. Go to something. I see greeting, hit enter, nothing happened. I probably did something wrong. I'm sure it's me.
Your list item has a title called greeting and it has actions. The actions are you may need to have that actions wrapped in an action panel.
Actions wrap. Okay. So if I back this out, I had an action panel here. What you're saying is I want this put in there,
yes.
And then I can get rid of that.
Yes.
And then I have to fix my case again. And so what's the other thing I want to do?
I think that looks pretty good.
Turds. Let's change this title to turds. And then let's say turds.
Oh.
Application can't be opened.
Sorry, one more thing I missed. It's action.open in browser. Open in browser is camel cased.
Open in browser, right there.
And then
target is not right.
It is called URL in this case.
Perfect. Man, you've got all the answers.
And then you got a title, so I think that would do something. Yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
Look at that.
Nice.
Fantastic. Okay, I mean, this is like our first commit, and that's good because we're out of time.
We're out of time.
We have a thing. So, no, you know what? What I want to do is just like, let's make a couple of these. Can I do this? Can I add multiple like this?
Oh, yeah. And then you need to add a key because this is React.
Key equals. So we'll do like GH and then, I'm sorry. And then we'll do like prod. And then key equals stage. Let's just do 3 for now. And then this is going to be docs.camunda.io, title, production, title, staging, and then this is going to be stage.docs.camunda.io. Okay, so I have 3, I'm expected to see 3 items in here. And when I type, I would like to see it limit it down to whichever one matches, and then I can select any of those. So
It's
go to
probably not
something.
quite what you want, but that's okay. So you're not seeing...
It's not.
So can you go back to Raycast?
Yeah. Because it's the actions, not the list items.
Right.
I want 3 list items.
So can you evoke it again, just so we see where they did show up?
Yeah.
Okay, so see
So now if I go to actions,
Yes.
then I see all of them here. Turds, production, and staging, each with its own shortcut. Cool.
So now you can just kind of mix and match where you want things to show up.
Totally.
But you're right. You probably want those to be list
This is super
items,
exciting.
and then they only probably have one open in browser action,
Or maybe I want a list item for Camunda Docs, and
Right.
the actions
Exactly
are
so.
production, staging, GitHub, etc. Oh, this is... I don't know. It's opening things up.
Yeah.
At some point, I think we'll end up doing some dynamic generation of these things based on my like URL map type of thing, like
Yeah.
adding dynamic ones. We're not there. I'm gonna commit this. I'm gonna open a repo, commit this, and then we'll go from there. John, I'm done sharing, so
Okay.
let me turn that off. And I think we're done with this stream. Does that sound right to you?
It does. It's been a pleasure. I'm so
It always
glad
is.
that this is mostly meeting your needs, and I think that you're gonna have a good time.
I had a great time. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, but we gotta end the stream.